All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about one of the most exciting investment opportunities in South Asia right now, and it's all happening in Bangladesh's energy sector. See, the country's economy is absolutely booming, which means it needs a ton of power. But the old ways of doing things just won't cut it. The future isn't about building more, it's about building smarter. So let's get into it. So here's what we've got on deck. First, we'll look at the big problem Bangladesh is facing with its power grid. Then, we'll talk about the really cool solar and storage solution. After that, we'll get practical. How can an investor get started smartly? We'll even look at some pretty wild growth forecasts for the next 10 years, and wrap up with a look at the whole green investment scene. Okay, Section 1. Let's talk about the big challenge here. Fueling a nation that's just taking off. Seriously, think about it. How do you power an economic explosion? This isn't some textbook question. It's the reality in Bangladesh right now. You've got this incredible growth. Cities are expanding like crazy, and more people are entering the middle class. All of that means one thing. They need a whole lot more energy. The demand is just skyrocketing.
And here's the problem. The old way of doing things, relying on imported fossil fuels, it just can't keep up. It's way too expensive, you're at the mercy of whatever's happening in global markets, and, well, it's not great for the planet. So finding a new way forward isn't just a nice idea, it's an absolute must.
So, what's the answer? Well, it's not just one thing. It's this awesome 1-2 punch, kind of like a two-part hero for the country's energy future. Rooftop solar paired with energy storage. Let's start with rooftop solar, or RTS. This is a total game changer. I mean, think about it. You're generating electricity right where you need it, on top of houses, on top of factories. This takes a huge load off the main power grid. It means you're not as dependent on expensive imported fuel, and you're getting clean, local power. It's brilliant. And get this isn't some small-time project. The government is aiming for 3,000 megawatts of rooftop solar. To put that in perspective, that's a huge amount of power. For anyone looking to invest, this is basically a giant green light. It's the government saying, yes, we are all in on this. But, okay, there's always that one big question with solar, right? It's awesome when the sun's out, but what about at night? Especially since that's when a lot of people are at home using the most electricity. Well, that's where the second half of our dynamic duo comes into play. It's all about energy storage systems, or ESS. It's a really simple but powerful idea. Step 1, during the day, the solar panels capture all that sun, often more than is needed. Step 2, instead of letting that extra power go to waste, big batteries, the ESS, store it up. And step 3, when the sun goes down or when demand spikes, they release that stored energy. It's how you get reliable, 24/7 clean power, the perfect partnership. Okay, so we see the tech, we see the potential, now for the big question. How do you, as an investor, actually get in on this? Especially if you're a startup or a medium-sized company, right? The biggest worry is always that huge upfront cost. So how do you get into this amazing market without going broke? Well, here's a really clever way to do it. Instead of dumping a ton of cash into buying an office, furnishing it, setting everything up, there's a much leaner way. You go for a furnished rental. Think about it. You can be up and running almost instantly, and all that money you saved, you can put it directly into what actually makes you money, your business. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Just look at the difference. On one side, you've got the old way, huge setup costs. But on the other, with a furnished rental, your starting costs are way, way lower because it's all ready to go. We're talking furniture, utilities, the whole deal. It gives you so much more flexibility, and you can start making money way faster. And with platforms out there now that are specifically designed to help you find these kinds of furnished spaces, it's becoming easier than ever to get started this way. Okay, so you've made a smart move to get started. Now for the really exciting part. What's the payoff? Let's look at the numbers, because the growth potential here is pretty mind-blowing. Just look at the story these numbers tell. In 2026, in the startup phase, you're looking at a net profit of around $500,000. Not bad, right? But now, just follow that line, all the way to 2034. As you scale up, that net profit doesn't just grow, it explodes to over $52 million. And look at the rent. It stays tiny the whole way through. That's the proof right there that this lean startup model really, really works. And if a table of numbers doesn't do it for you, this graph should. I mean, wow, look at that climb. That's what they call a hockey stick curve for both revenue and profit. This isn't just steady progress, it's explosive, exponential growth.
It's the kind of opportunity that happens when you get in early on the right idea. All right, the numbers are incredible, but let's be real for a second. Every big opportunity comes with its own set of challenges. A smart investor looks at the whole picture, the good and the tricky. So let's map out the road ahead.
On the one hand, the opportunities are everywhere. You don't just have to be the main company. You could be supplying the equipment, the batteries, doing the installations, the maintenance. There's a whole ecosystem. But on the other side, you've got the real-world hurdles. Things like finding the money to get started can be tough, navigating the rules can be tricky, and frankly, finding enough people who know how to do this work is a real challenge. But the good news is, for every one of those challenges, there are solutions. We're seeing governments and banks working together on things like green bonds to make financing easier. Running pilot projects on public buildings is a great way to show people this stuff works. And honestly, the smartest move is finding good partners to work with so you can pool your money and your skills to grow faster together.
So, what's the bottom line? It's this. Bangladesh is right on the edge of a massive green energy revolution. We know what the market needs, we've seen what the growth looks like, and we know how to navigate the challenges. For anyone paying attention, the time to get in and grab that early mover advantage is literally right now.
You know, this whole thing is bigger than just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about building a cleaner, stronger, more sustainable future for a country that's really on the move. That future is being built as we speak. So the only real question left is, where are you going to be?